After a photo shoot and you're ready to edit your photos, choose your best photos, and then turn in your photos. Let's just review a couple things that we're looking for you to do with your Lightroom mobile app so that you can put your best photos forward. All right, so hopefully in your photo shoot, you've already created an album of which you are keeping your photos in. For this particular example, I'm just showing you my photo on pets. So I have a number of photos, but you more likely have more photos in your album or your collection. So let's first choose a photo to edit. There may be several photos that I think are contending to be my best photo, but oftentimes I need to edit them first and then take a look at the end to see which one in fact is the strongest. So I've done a couple edits already. Some of them are already in black and white and have been adjusted, but I haven't done all of them. So let's choose one. Now, I do see some things that are maybe a little bit problematic about this photo, but I'm going to go ahead and show you anyway because it's just another example of photos that I'm taking a look at. In this particular example, I'm seeing her paw is a little bit out of focus, so probably won't be my end result photo, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a try anyway. So let's go to the 3 different tools in the edit menu that I think are going to be most helpful to you. First one is the color button in the lower right-hand corner. If you click that open, it expands and gives you the option to hit black and white. And I do like black and white in this instance because there was distracting color in the background, and I think it actually helps alleviate some of that distracting quality to some of those colors that were happening in this photo. The second thing is we have to now look at exposure. Exposure is always going to be an important component to our photography, and we have to make sure that anything that we do, either in the capture of the photo or in the editing, that we are bringing out the absolute best of the photo. So let's go under the light button, and we have exposure, contrast, highlight, shadows, whites, blacks. The exposure slider moves things uniformly up and down, so it brings all of your values up or all of your values down. So you can see that any extreme version of moving this around would cause a negative effect on your photo, but maybe perhaps you need a little bump up or down. Contrast is working with both your highlights and shadows at the same time. So if I bump the contrast to the right, it's enhancing the highlights and enhancing the shadows. Sometimes people think that this can be an appealing photo, but be very careful to not lose details in those highlights or shadows. So right now, I am losing details in those highlights, and the shadows, I cannot see the fur detail either. So I don't really want to push that far. I may just want to bump it up a little bit, or I can control the highlights and shadows individually later on. So I'm going to just show a full range of value there, but trying to maintain those details in the highlights and the shadows. So if I want to move just my highlights or just my shadows, the sliders here will take care of that. So I could do some adjustments. I'll do some quick adjustments here. I want to bring my highlights down a little bit. I think I might have lost some detail in those highlighted areas on her front paw. So I'll make some quick adjustments. And when you have black and white photos, your whites and blacks will oftentimes look very similar to your highlights and shadows since everything has been converted to black and white. In any case, your goal is to keep a good exposed photo with all those values and details in your highlights and shadows throughout the photo. Lastly, we're going to go to the crop tool. There's 2 things that you can access here that I think will be helpful. One is the straighten part where you can move your rotation of your photo a little bit. This would really only be helpful if you had something in your photo that perhaps has a nice vertical or horizontal line that you need to straighten. So that is a possibility. I don't really need it for this photo, but it's there for your use. And the second thing we're looking at is the aspect ratio on the lower left-hand corner. There's a couple options for you. We, for this class, will use 5:7, and that when you are going to crop into this photo more, so let's just say I decide to crop in the photo more and focus on her face, but cropping out that paw, even me going into a closer crop, it's still keeping that aspect ratio. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I like that crop, but for the instance, I'm just going to show you so you can see how it changes. So when I have the crop I'd like, I hit the X on the lower left, and it goes ahead and it just sets in that crop. Oh, I think it missed it. One more time. So I want to make sure I have my 5:7. There we go. Checkbox. Sorry about that. So the X actually X's out of that crop and the checkbox is sets in. So I was mistaken that first time around. All right, so now that we have our photo, and let's say if we've decided after trying out several photos that this is the photo that we're going to turn in, so then we go to our share option up top, and we are looking to share to. It's going to pull up our apps, so I should be able to navigate to my Google Drive, and that will bring me to my school account. And if I have a photo set up already, which I believe I do, I can set up a folder that says specifically photo. So if I needed to, I can go to my drive and choose my photo folder and save here. That way I have all my photos put in a place where I can easily access them later and turn them in. So hit upload, and then once that's done, it's ready to turn in.